Hello, welcome again to AVonAir. I'm Joe Dunbar, your host with Midwich. I'm here with Pike from Logitech. It's InfoComm 25. Final day, day 3, Pike. We were just talking about it, man. How are you doing? Are you hanging in there?
I'm doing great. I'm surviving. I still have most of my voice. You know, there's still a lot of energy on the floor. We're still getting lots of booth traffic. We're keeping busy. Just showing off all our latest technology. It's been a good year.
I've been really impressed that when we got together outside, I was surprised that your voice was still in such good shape. I was doing a lot of water yesterday and on all the days to try and keep mine in good shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, the energy has been pretty good today.
Yeah.
Friday can sometimes, a lot of folks start to get on the move.
Yeah.
But you know what I love about this, Pike, is that folks like us who might be tethered to booths the whole time, now we get some time to move about the floor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Just, walk the show, see what's out there.
Say hi to some folks.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, let's dive into it. We got some folks who haven't been able to attend that are watching, and we're giving them some info and feedback. Yep. You and I, we've been doing our AV Exchange webinars and stuff quite a bit, so we've been hyping this up for a little bit, but what do you got? What are we showing at the booth? What are the folks, what are they missing at home? What can we tell them about?
Yeah, I think, when I take people through a booth journey, the first thing that I really want to drive home and show how we are different, because when you walk this floor, everyone has a video bar. And, again, we make phenomenal video bars.
Absolutely.
And we're expanding on that. And really the secret sauce is of course, the hardware. So, we're working on one of our big stories when it comes to sustainability and making sure the product life cycle continues is we're gonna.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I do.
We're gonna update all of our solutions to Android 12. So all our CollabOS bars. So to make sure that we remain certified for Microsoft Teams and Zoom. So sustainability top of mind, but we also really want to bring the booth audience to the fact that Logitech is not just a video bar company. What we really do is we're looking at ourselves as a workspace solution provider. So I had a lot of fun building our booth layout in our Logitech Sync tenant. So all the actual demo stations are tied into Sync. So we're getting the live data. And then with LogiView, which is basically running on a roommate with a touch panel, people can actually see the entire booth and kind of navigate. Because the other thing
they get the layout.
Yeah, it's a viewfinder, so you can actually think of the offices.
Yeah, just like your got you.
Yeah, the return to office, right? What we see, some people, they may work in a satellite office, then they go to HQ maybe once a quarter. How do you find an available meeting room? Or a desk? Or where's the coffee maker, or more important, the bathroom, right? So all of that.
I need to know where the vending machine is. That's
an important
spot.
one too. So and you can search for it. So with LogiView, we show all the rooms, we show the desks, and even when you click on a desk, you can see, oh, this one is wheelchair accessible. This one has a rising desk. This one has a webcam and a keyboard and mouse. So some people like to bring their own on the go. We make great keyboards and mice that you can just put in your backpack. I love the MX Anywhere 3S.
I'm on the MX Master series, and I've got the mechanical keyboard you set me up with, and I've been using the MX Master stuff for I can't even know how long. I've got a couple in my bag.
I'm gonna have to send you a new one soon because we're coming out with the MX Master 4. It's got extra buttons. Haptic feedback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wish we had that at the booth. That's for next year.
Well, yeah, a little workspace action.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so you said you're going to have to remind me the phrase because I want it. So a workspace solutions company, right? Is that that's what you're gearing for? And honestly, that's so fitting for Logitech because you have so many solutions. To cover the whole meeting.
I've been with the company for 20 years. I'm one of those dinosaurs. I've had so many different roles, different departments. It's been an amazing journey, but just see Logitech grow. 40% of our business now is B2B, and we foresee that overtaking probably within the next 18 months will be over 50%. So we're super excited to be here and really showcase our B2B lineup of keyboards and mice. We have now a Microsoft Copilot, a keyboard that we're showcasing, our headset. So we have a massive headset, a Zone Wireless 2 at the booth. So you can really,
saw that.
you just look for this big headset, and that's where our booth is, and allowing allowing people to really, experience the audio, with this whole transition from Windows 10 to Windows 11.
Yeah.
We're going dongle-less. Last year we had the dongle.
Yeah.
That guy's gone because we're going dongle-less.
I need to upgrade myself now you say it. I'm running out of time.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you a headset. You can experience that because, for Windows 11 users now, they no longer need the dongle.
Right.
They can have, with the Teams certified headphones, they got the Teams button, got the mic, mute, sync, everything is working seamlessly without needing that dongle. So it's a big story for us.
You mentioned how your business has grown so much in the B2B space compared to the consumer space and the way it's kind of shifting. And it's like when Logitech really entered this, I shouldn't say when they entered the space, but certainly the pandemic kind of pushed some things. And it's crazy. I feel like there was a lot of pushback, and now people, everybody is loving Logitech. I had some dealers this week that were talking about how much they love the Sync platform. I think the room booking solutions are, I think it's kind of understated. I'm glad that you kind of mentioned it and are utilizing it at the booth. Certainly for anyone at home, do not sleep on the room booking solutions because it's, and my favorite thing about that is how intuitive it is for whether you're on the phone or you want to look at it on your laptop or whatever, it scales so well to those different solutions.
With our own native desk booking, and again, we have lots of partners out there. We work with Microsoft Teams, with their workspaces, their places, Zoom, AppSpace. We're really expanding partners, but we also, just like, because we're entering this space, we also want to provide our own solution. That's a lot of our customers are asking that. We serve more than 71% of Fortune 500 companies, and a lot of them are a big fan of deploying that in a native solution in Sync, and that's what we're doing with the desk booking. Now, that being said, LogiView is actually free for our customers as long as you deploy it on a roommate. Any integration with Office 365 or Google, of course, will fully integrate those rooms so people can experience that as well. Awesome. And then just to tie into that, so coming back to the workspace solution provider that we're really trying to cater to our customers, we're going beyond the traditional meeting spaces, right? When the meeting room has technology, we can easily auto book. So you can walk in, the camera detects there's a human, our tab scheduler that is running our software, or this also works with Teams and Zoom and so forth, can automatically check you in. Because we all get busy. We might just come into this room, maybe it's a phone call or it's just me and you brainstorming. We may forget to check in, right?
Absolutely.
So this auto check-in feature is great. And then we're like, hey, I'm hungry, let's go for lunch. We run out and the room is still booked, right? We want to make that technology seamless. So this auto booking feature, we're expanding. So now we're showcasing Logitech Spot. So we have Logitech Spot at our booth. And what Logitech Spot is, it's an all-in-one modern sensor for any workspace. So if you think about it, you may have seen some of these, Framery booths. There's many of these little focus rooms, either for 2 people or 3. There's no AV in there. It's you just go in there with your laptop, or it's just people having a conversation. How do you make that bookable? And that's what we're doing with Logitech
and account for that space, and usage, and get your details in sync.
Exactly. How do you get the analytics? How does IT and facility see, like, those meeting pods, are they even used? Like, do we need more? Do we need less? So that scalability, now you install a Spot, and also in those smaller spaces, you can see what's the temperature, the humidity, we deter, airflow, dust particles. Do we need to change the HVAC? So
Spot does it all, man.
It's really gonna take that next level of room monitoring, right? So it's going to work for those spaces, but then also you can install Spot in a room with a rally bar, and now you're getting all of the health sensors, energy sensors. What we're discovering is that 60% of the power, of your energy bills is HVAC. It's all. So how can we help kind of monitor that?
Make that more efficient, or give you just the insight to make better decisions with it, is the whole thing. Man, I talk about Spot and people, like, this is like an occupancy sensor, and it's like, that's not fair.
So much more.
That's not fair to call it that. I wanna kind of come back a little bit. You briefly touched on the keyboard and the Copilot thing. I was at Microsoft some weeks ago. Up at the headquarters in Seattle, beautiful facility if you've ever been there. If you haven't been there and get an opportunity, I would certainly encourage you to go. I remember saying when we got there, I said, if this was my office, I would be compelled to come here all the time. But to that point in Copilot, I'm sure more Copilot stuff coming down the turn. I would imagine.
Yeah, I think also what we're really trying to communicate to our customers is, if you think about Options Plus, which we're heavily investing in, customizing based on the application that you're running, based on what these mouse buttons do or the buttons on your keyboard, really making sure that any keyboard or mouse can be a Copilot experience, right? You can map it on the mouse, you can map it on the keyboard. So that's again another great journey, because as you mentioned, you're a big fan of the MX Mechanical.
Yeah,
You can also assign a Copilot button right there on that keyboard, and the same thing with the MX Master 3, and now the 4 coming with that extra button. So I think that's another journey that we're really focusing on, to making sure that yes, we're going to have a dedicated keyboard that has the button, but also like expanding on making sure that customers are aware of Options Plus and everything that it will do for them from a productivity and creativity, right? And then tying into creativity, our booth also has the MX Creative Console. So it's customized buttons, and you have a volume dial, and this is great for video editing, audio, or just for productivity. Like you can add Copilot to it, but I customized it like you can have any AI bot prompt based if you're doing
This is
Gmails.
why I ask about it. I mean, Microsoft is really investing heavily, and their roadmap is all about without giving anything away that's covered or anything like that. I know. I mean, they're heavily investing in and talking about the Copilot and Copilot agents and what they expect, kind of how that to change productivity and workflow. So for me, the reason I ask you this is like access to that is important, right? And this also applies to when you're talking about entering a room and not having to really interact with the technology. They're huge on this. Technology becoming more seamless.
Yeah, a great example. So what we're showing in our booth as well, on one side we're really showcasing Microsoft Teams. On Windows we have a couple cool demos. One of the demos is that will be coming out in probably a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, where on Microsoft Teams on Windows, those rooms will start supporting a couple things with Copilot. So one, if you enroll your voice, of course, we have that voice recognition through Microsoft, leveraging our microphones. So that was a huge feature, but also name tagging. So it's great that, if I'm enrolling my voice, behind my desk, it recognized me easy. But we're also going to take that a step further, because in a room there's 5-6 people. You can see, okay, Bob said that, but who is Bob, right? So, that's Bob, because he's got the name tagging. So really completing that experience, because what happens, someone explained a great use case. You might be in a meeting, and now all of a sudden the doorbell rings, and it's an important package,
delivery,
right? Delivery, whatever. Now you can rewind, the transcription, the recap. Like, okay, Bob is taking this action item.
The takeaway.
This is my task, so the takeaway. So you don't have to be so disruptive. Like, hey guys, I was gone for 5 minutes. You can actually, as you continue in the meeting, you can actually do that after, or kind of scroll through.
In real time.
So that's a real powerful experience that Microsoft is building, leveraging our hardware.
This is one of the things I've actually been most excited about. I mean, for me, being in meetings, virtual, in person, it doesn't really matter. It's almost incumbent upon you and yourself, and has been for as long as we've existed and been doing business, to like maintain the important takeaways for you. The behaviorals and the action items that need to be followed up on. And what I love about kind of it's what's coming and what has been going on now with Copilot and the hardware with it now is going to give us the opportunity. Like, these are agreed upon takeaways. This is what Copilot's given us back. This person said this, I'll take care of that. And my note list isn't different than your notes list.
And that you nailed it. It's all aligned. It's spot on. You don't have this dedicated person now that's trying to take down all the action items in the notes. That's a big manual process. And a lot of times it gets assigned to someone that should also be listening in. And you're kind of removed from that, right?
Absolutely.
So, and that goes, Microsoft has that same story that we have. It's like, deploying technology in these spaces without people having to think about it, right? It's the same thing with our AI tracking and how the cameras can switch between the rally bar and the site. No different with the Copilot experience, where focus on the meeting and the technology is going to do everything on the side.
So, okay, well, maybe we'll wrap up on this one, Pike, because
there's so much more.
I know, and you and I mean, man, when we start to get into it, I just enjoy the conversation, so we could go all day.
Exactly.
I get a lot of questions about site and further support for the rest of the line. I know it's on the roadmap. Any peeks into site support for the Rally and Rally Plus system, site support for multiple sites at the table? I know you guys are working on it. What does it look like for people forthcoming?
Yeah, so no, great question. So we're very excited here at InfoComm. We are actually showcasing site daisy chaining, or some may call it, dual site. It depends if you ask a customer or a partner, right? So I'm putting both in, right? We have a broad audience.
What's the verbiage that you guys would use?
I like the daisy chaining. I'm a big fan of.
Well, and that's we all know that term in the industry, and it's very simple.
It's daisy chained. People are like, oh, the mics are daisy chained, sides daisy chained.
Okay. So you've got two set up on the table here.
Yeah, we're actually doing live demos at the booth. Like we've been, fun fact, site has been under development since 2018, before the pandemic. It was a vision of our product management, because we recognize you need, in these medium to large spaces, you need that dual perspective. Like you need two perspectives. There's conversations happening across the table and with the far end. And the problem is, if you don't capture that, you end up looking at people's noses and ears. That's all you see eventually.
Well, and you feel removed from the discussion. It's the nature of it. I mean, this is kind of the crux, or has been the crux of remote and hybrid work for some time now, is how does everybody feel, at least have the ability to feel included.
Give you a seat at the table while you're out in Nevada or wherever you are, right? Yeah,
it could be different each day.
Exactly. So we're super excited to showcase, the dual site. It's also a microphone, right? Each side covers 15 feet. So now you have two sides with a little bit of overlap. You're getting, an easy coverage of like 27 feet across that table. And then what's great, right now we're running it on Zoom, so we're already certified for Zoom Intelligent Director.
Oh, awesome.
So, before the site was used in speaker focus, for instance, with Zoom, taking this to Intelligent Director really opens it up, because what Zoom is doing now, we are actually feeding in a separate stream for the entire room, and then you get two different streams for each side. Oh, great. So it's a great...
I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 streams then at that point.
Yeah, technically, you get basically 8 in the room, but then in 3 separate streams that get sent to the far end. So yeah, it's been really well received. Right now it's a closed beta. We're hoping that we'll hit a beta sometime this summer. So basically, that's
right around the corner.
And it's going to be on production. You don't have to enroll. What it means is that we don't enable it by default, but anyone from IT, they just enable it through either sync or on a device, and they can actually experience dual side.
I have a handful of customers that I've worked with, our systems integrator partners, that they use these solutions in their own offices, and they'll enroll a room or 2 rooms, and they really open up those features and put them to the test. And it's known throughout the company that, like, hey, these rooms might have the latest and greatest features. They're still in beta, so it's possible you're going to run into issues, and it's like accepted and known there. And I know
customer enabled.
Yeah, right. And they love, even the higher ups, like, love to go into those rooms. These guys they don't talk about tech, they don't care about tech, but it gets them excited to like try it out and get in there. So I love to hear that. Pike, man, I appreciate you coming on AVonAir. It's InfoComm 25. We're winding down. I know we're gonna get together, I think, in a few weeks. We're always hooking up and chatting. So I appreciate you being on, man. Until next time, folks, InfoComm 25. We're wrapping up here on AVonAir. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us.